Hi Year 4, Miss Still here. I hope you're all safe and keeping well indoors. I thought it'd be really nice just to make a little video for you and I want to show you how to make your very own bread rolls. This is something that I tried last week and they turned out really well and it's really simple and you don't need many ingredients, so I thought it would be good to share it with you. Now the first thing that I need you to make sure that you have done if you're following along is to have cleaned your surface, washed your hands, and if you've got long hair, make sure it's tied up. Once you've done all of that, you should be ready to go. So you're going to need to use 250 grams of strong bread flour. Now I use this one here, but it doesn't really matter which brand you use as long as it's strong flour. And the first thing that you do is pour that into your mixing bowl. In it goes. The next thing that you need to add is 1 teaspoon of salt. And I'm sure most of you have got that in your cupboards at home. So I'm trying to use a steady hand here. 1 teaspoon of salt. In it goes. 1 teaspoon of sugar. Again, something that most of you will have in your cupboards. And finally, 1 packet of yeast. Now this is a really fantastic ingredient because this is what makes the bread rise, so it's a key ingredient for your bread rolls and it's actually a microorganism, which means it's a living thing and it's classed as a fungus or a fungi, but don't worry, it won't harm you, and it is, like I said, very important to our bread making. Now you need to give those ingredients a little stir before adding some warm water. So start to just mix those ingredients that you've put into your bowl and then just create a little well in the middle, so a small sort of hole in the middle of the things that you've already put into the bowl, and this is where you then start to add the warm water. Now it's 150 millilitres that you need, and it's important not to use boiling water because that could kill our yeast and that's not what we want to happen. So slowly, so that you don't spill any, start to add the warm water, and then it's just a case of mixing your ingredients together. So I don't want to make too much of a mess, so I'm trying to be careful here. And it does take a little while to get everything mixed up, but you'll notice that it's all starting to stick and to bind together. Now what I found last time is that it was a little bit dry, so I had to add a little more water, and I think that might be the case again today. So it's always good just to have a little drip of water on standby, just in case yours is a little dry as well. Now it's all starting to stick together, it's getting heavier on my spoon, and the next part is the fun part, because this is the bit where you get to get messy. Okay, I've got to scrape that off the spoon, I think it's all stuck. We don't want it to be too sticky, so do be careful with the water, otherwise you'll just end up with a big sticky doughy mess. Right, okay, it's pretty much in one lump. So what I need to do is, with some flour, I need to prepare my surface because I need to knead the dough in a minute. And if I don't put flour down, I might find that it sticks. So I'm just going to spread some flour on my surface and out comes my dough mixture. Now, this process is called kneading and it's a sort of pushing and pulling action. So push it away from you and pull it towards you. And this is really important. You might even want to stand up as you do it because it makes the yeast work. It helps the yeast to ferment, and that will mean that we get gluten and your bread will rise nicely. Now, it's a really good idea to use this part of your hand when you do this, pushing and pulling, making sure it's not getting stuck to your table. It's quite a good workout, I think, as well, making sure I'm getting all those last little bits of flour. Now you have to do this for about 10 minutes. And I'm not going to make you watch me do this for 10 minutes because that would be a very long and boring video, but it is really important that you do spend 10 minutes approximately doing this because, like I said, we want our bread to rise, we want to make sure that the gluten is activated, and this just helps mix all those key ingredients together. So, like I said, you need to do that for around 10 minutes. I'm going to stop there because here's some that I made earlier. Now, once I've done that for around 10 minutes, I can split my dough ball, I can split my ball of bread dough into 4, because this is enough to make 4 bread rolls. Now, I've just done 2 which are sort of normal round rolls. I tried to be a bit fancy here and I plaited my roll, and this one I wanted to make look a little bit like a French baguette, so it's a bit flatter, and I used a knife to score some lines in there. Now, once you have split your dough into 4, shaped your rolls, you need to leave them to prove, and this is another chance for the yeast to work and for the bread to rise, and you need to leave them to prove for half an hour, and all that means is leave them alone for half an hour. But it's crucial that you put them in a warm place, maybe by a radiator or on a windowsill or in a room that you know is warm. And if you cover them up with either cling film or a damp tea towel, then that helps as well. So cover them up and leave them for around half an hour. And at this point, you need to get your grown-up to help you, because you need to switch your oven on. You need to turn your oven on and need to switch it up to 200 degrees Celsius, which is around about 390 degrees Fahrenheit. So whilst your bread is being left to prove in a warm space for half an hour, your oven is heating up. And then once you go back and check, you should notice that your bread has risen, that your bread rolls look bigger, and they're ready to go into the oven. Now, they only need to go into the oven for around 12 to 15 minutes. And again, you need to make sure you ask your grown-up to help you. Pop your bread rolls into the oven, keep an eye on them. We don't want any burnt rolls. And after around 12 to 15 minutes, or when they've got a golden, crispy top to them, they're ready to come out. Now, like I said, I made some last week and they were super delicious. I'd love for some of you to have a go at doing this. And if you do decide to join in, then please let me know. I'd love to see some pictures. Maybe you could tweet us or get in contact on the blog somehow. I'd love to see the results of your baking. My top tip would be, if you like cheese, to sprinkle a little bit of grated cheese on the rolls just before they go into the oven, because that's what I did and they were the best ones. When the cheese melted on top, they were super scrummy. Good luck. I'm missing you all lots. Would love for you to get involved and have a little go at this. I remember the last time we did some cooking together, things didn't quite go to plan and we did manage to set the smoke alarms off. But this time, I've been super safe and I'm sure you will too. Take good care and I'll speak to you all soon.